Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is part 5 of our series on developing a full stack to-do app using Spring Boot and React. In the previous video, we created the DTO class for our to-do items entity and also created a mapper using MapStruct for entity to DTO and DTO to entity conversions. In today's video, we are going to create the service layer for our to-do app. We will create the service interface, implement it, and define methods for CRUD operations like create, read, update, and delete. So let's start the video. Inside our project, create a new package called service. Inside that package, create an interface named to-do item service. Now inside this interface, declare the method for CRUD operation. First one will be to do item DTO create, and it will take to do item DTO. The next one is get by ID. So get by ID, it will take the ID, long ID. The return type will be to do item DTO. Next one is update. This method will take an ID and the DTO. So long ID, and the updated values will come from to do item DTO, and the return type will be to do item DTO. And finally we have delete. So this delete method will not have any return type. It will be void delete and the ID of the item that we need to delete. This interface defines all the business operations related to to-do item. Keeping methods inside an interface is a good practice because later we can change the implementation without affecting the other layers. Now our service contract is ready. Inside the service package, create one more package called impulse. And inside this package, create a class named to do item service impulse. So create a new class to do item service impulse. Now annotate this class with @service. This tells Spring that this class is a service bin and should be managed by Spring container. Now implement this class with our interface to do item service. So implements to do item service, and now we need to implement all the method. So for that, implement methods. Okay. Inside this class, we need access to repository and mapper. So we will define those. Private final to do item repository, private final to do item mapper, We will use Lombok annotation to create the constructor. It will be @required args constructor. This will automatically create the constructor for all the final fields. So the constructor injection will happen. Now let's implement the create method. First we will add transactional because this method will insert the data into database. So it will be @transactional and it will come from Spring Framework. Now inside this method, first we will convert this DTO into entity. For that, to do item, this is our entity, and now we have mapper to do item mapper dot to entity, and we will pass this DTO. So this to do entity method will convert our DTO to entity. Now we will save this to do item entity into repository. So it will be to do item saved to do item is equal to to do item repository dot save, and it will be to do item. Now the record is saved in database. So finally we will return the DTO response, return to do item mapper dot to DTO, and we will return the DTO version of saved to do item. So our create method is completed. Now let's implement get by ID method. First add transactional on it. It will be @transactional. Now also this method will only read the data from the database. It will not modify it. So we will also set read only to true. Now we will fetch the record with repository. So it will be to do item fetch to do item is equal to do item repository dot find by ID, and we will pass the provided ID. Find by ID returns optional. So if record is exist, then we will get the object, and if record doesn't exist, then we will throw the exception. So it will be dot or else throw, and we will throw the exception here. So new runtime exception, and we will pass some message to do not found with ID, and it will be ID. Okay. Now we will return the DTO form of this entity. It will be return to do item mapper dot to DTO fetched to do item. So this is our get by ID method. Now we will work on update method. Firstly add transactional to this method also. Transactional. Now for update, first we will fetch the existing to do item. So it will be to do item is equal to do item repository dot find by ID. Actually, in fact, we can write a common method which is responsible to fetch the to do item using ID, and it will return the to do item entity if it is present, and else it will throw the exception. So let's create a common private method. So here we will create a common method. So it will be private to do item. The name will be find or throw, and we will pass the ID to this method, long ID. Now here we will copy this logic. So fetch the to do item using ID. If it is find, then we will return the object, or else we will throw the exception. Here we will write return find by ID, and or else we will throw the exception. Okay. Now we will use this method. Whenever we need to do item by ID, we simply call this method. Now inside get by ID, we will use this method. We will use find or throw, and we will pass our ID. And again similarly here in our update, we will use this method find or throw, and we will pass our ID. Now the next step is to copy the updated value from this DTO to this entity object. Now for that we will create one more method in our mapper. We will go to the mapper interface. Here we will create new method which will be void entity from DTO. It will take DTO object to do item DTO. Also it will take to do item entity. we will add mapping target to this entity @mapping target. Mapping target means the values will get updated inside this entity object. Now there are some important rules that we don't want to update the ID created at and updated at field from the DTO to entity. So we will add those mappings. So here we have created at and updated at mapping. We will copy that and paste it here. So that way the created at and updated at field will not get copied from this DTO to this entity. Also we need the same thing for ID field. Copy this, paste it here for ID. One more thing is that if DTO contains null values, then we don't want to override the existing values of entity with null value. So for that we will use @bean mapping, and in the bean mapping we will set null value property mapping strategy, and its value will be null value property mapping strategy, and we'll set it to ignore. So what it will do is it will ignore the null value from this DTO and it will not update those values in this entity. It is very useful for update APIs. Now let's go back to the service class and call this mapper method. So here we will call the mapper method do item mapper dot update entity from DTO, and we will pass the DTO object and we will pass our entity object. Now this entity object will get the updated value from the DTO. So now we will save it again. So to do item updated to do item is equal to do item repository dot save to do item and return the DTO response. So return to do item mapper dot to DTO updated to do item. Our update method is also completed. Now finally we will go to the delete method. Again add the transactional annotation here @transactional. Now we want to delete the to do item with the provided ID. So for that first we will fetch the entity to do item to delete is equal to, we will use our same method find or throw ID and then delete it. To delete to do item repository dot delete and pass the item to delete, and that's it. The delete method is also implemented. So okay guys, that's it for this video. We created the to do item service interface, then created its implementation class, and finally wrote the code for all CRUD operations. In the next video, we will implement exception handling for our application. So make sure to follow along. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video. Till then, code to crack.